Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same. Let's not waste a second of your time, shall we? Bada bing, bada boom, into the charts we go. And it looks like Bitcoin got a rejection off that 236, and that was all she wrote for that bearish retest. Rising wedge dumped to the downside like a thunderbolt with ABC to the downside here. And it looks like we are currently at the beneath the 618 of this diagonal fib level. Will we see that retrace to the 0.5 of 26.5 and drop another $1,000? That is the question on everyone's mind. Or are we going to see a bounce here at the 65706 region, which we saw a previous buyback wick up off of on this bearish fib projection? Let's go into the liquidity heat map from High Block. What is the heat map? Well, it's when people leave their liquidity into the charts to be burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss. So let's see who did that today, shall we? All right. On the 1 minute time frame, we had this previous pool building of long imbalances, ever so slight here. On the 1 minute, it was saying 3.8 billion, but a lot of stuff was lost to Father Time, and we came back for that stacked region with the fervor. And now we are starting to see these bubbles occur to the opposite side. Well, first let's give a shout out to the lost brethren down below here.
Fatality.
So it looks like they got repossessed here at that level, and it spawned some divergence. Sorry, my throat is a little bit off today. And yeah, it looks like we are about to reclaim that 28k $282 million 100x pool of shorts. Did we get it just yet? Not quite. Let's zoom in to see this guy getting approached here at 28 even. 282 million there. Looks like that's the next target on the table. This is what creates your double bottoms, folks. You release the liquidity, get a sigh of relief, and create your W formations out of here. And it looks like these bubbles to the upside are stacking up above nicely to 28.29. Do they come back for this, or start to see the interest on both sides and start to consolidate and ping up the interest similar to they did here? They're starting to pin these imbalanced short bubbles now that are starting to get imbalanced in the amount of $9 billion in short liquidity now imbalanced on this 1 minute time frame. Let's go into the higher time frame as we expand our vision to the 7-day. How y'all doing out there? So it looks like the 7 days previously got some liquidity grab to the downside. They cleared this quite nicely. They still have a little bit more down here to grab. It's about $7 billion down at 27 if they're going to spawn, if they didn't already have their fill off that divergence prior that they created here on the 7-day time frame. So they knocked out all the longs. Now are they going to reverse the direction? It is false move Monday. Let's see how it holds on the monthly time frame. Also seeing these pools get knocked out here. It looks like it is about $20 billion here. You still have some more below, and your 26.4 region with the 20 billion is not that far away now, as opposed to 29 now missing some liquidity. But you still have this idea of the shorts up above here with the double digits up to 30,300. You have about $45 billion up here. Do you start to see a spike up to this region after you spawn enough divergence here? Where does that divergence kick in is the question. So we talked about previously this bearish trend-based fib extension level. Knocking out 41 days of consolidated longs here would be a nice play to think about if you held this 236 projection to the downside, which we did. We were not confident enough to take it here, even though we had outlined the level due to it being the weekend, which we kick ourselves about, but it is, you don't always catch every trade. So we're going to take a look at the higher time frame of the 3 month to see if we can catch that bounce to the upside if it does occur. So you're starting to see this path that we were talking about, the imbalance to the downside now being a target. If we start making these lower lows below 27k, then we can easily start to see these pools be taken all the way down to the 25k region, which we did have outlined here for a week or so or more. So is that going to occur is anybody's guess. So we're looking for that divergence to spawn on our oscillators and key levels within the Fibonacci and order blocks, fair value gaps, all this fun smart money stuff as we go to the 6 month. 6 month also insinuates going lower here with the 26.4 region having 67, nearly 100 billion, all the way down to 26.1 and caked up nicely even in the 25k region with 70 billion, 72 billion and 62 billion on the way to 25k. So you got nearly $250 billion in this zone for the taking, and it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from that region for that liquidity grab. You'd have to break this range to be a kind of lightning bolt to the downside here. So we'll see if that occurs. We already looked at the yearly, but we'll do it again for you. Also consider subscribing and hitting that like if you haven't already. We are at that equilibrium point for the pools on the yearly time frame. We previously looked at what was available down below. We did have 31 billion at 28.4, which we have now released. Are we going to start to see this idea of coming up into that 48 billion, or are we going down to the 28 and 31 down here? We are closer to these regions than we are above. So did we get our fill, or are we coming down to here on this immediate minutia? Let's go to the monthly and then head into the charts. Shout out to everybody here. Hopefully the music is doing all right. I rebooted, so it should not be doubled up. So we were looking at this idea here of some divergence forming. So we're going to see if that is true or not. So we have our 236 to the downside, which was honored, and we broke the bullish trend-based fib level. So that bullish projection is currently nullified until we reclaim this if we can. So we're getting a rejection off the bearish trend-based fib levels of the 706 region. So are the market makers not ready to open the trapdoor just yet and come back into some of this liquidity on the 1 minute time frame? The narrative suggests they might go up to this region to reclaim at the bare minimum 28k retest to grab this 100x and a 50x grab at 28.29. What happens after that? Do you create the double bottom and try to attack this pool again? Is something to see. So let's go to our higher time frame and see how the daily closed, shall we? For this we need momentum master, so we're going to turn on our heads up display and see where that leads us. So we were talking about this curvature of the cloud. The interesting thing to note on the daily 22 and 12 hour is the cloud ambiguity, which is suggesting more upside, which is why I was still kind of weary to short. I was seeing that potential. However, we are getting this cross down event on the daily now, which does bring with it a fury if we do continue on that path. This one has not yet locked in until this daily candle closes. However, we did see this on the 3-day and the 5-day, which we illustrated the other day before the weekly candle close. And the 22-hour now locked in a cross down event on the baselines. By the way, this is Momentum Master, link in the description for anyone new. This is, you scroll down to features and you can see each of these components in their glory all together or individually, and kind of see what baselines are and what they mean to us in this indicator suite. So the interesting thing to note here was this cloud ambiguity. We kissed off the cloud, but then we broke down through it, and now we're getting a cross down event confirmation on False Move Monday. Is this pink candle a stop hunt before they continue higher, with this cloud suggestive of some curvature continuation to the upside here? This could be a liquidity grab before they head up into these regions again, based off of the momentum here. Okay, that's just something interesting to note on the 22 and the 12. So the 22 is coming down nicely too. If we hold this range, you are double bottoming, and you could be getting some bullish divergence here. If this closes, you're starting to get a lower low on the Williams, but maintaining a relatively double bottom situation for the price action. Let's go into the 12-hour and see if there's any divergence starting to form. 12-hour closes in another 12 hours. Go figure, we just had that candle close above the 6.5, and you're still seeing this curvature nature of the cloud, but you got that cross down event confirmation, which brings with it many times a fury. Are we going to see that suppression of the price in similar fashion to here? That is the question. So a lot can happen in 12 hours. Let's see where we are. The Williams is coming down. It's not necessarily having that alarming event, so it could flip on a dime with this in mind. Going to the 6-hour here. Sorry for clearing my throat so much. So you're starting to get into the oversold position on the Williams on the 6-hour, and you're getting oversold on the stochastic RSI, and the MACD is coming to the stochastic RSI to see if it wants to get a recharge here, or it will come down into the Williams domain. Money flow and RSI are coming down nicely as well, not necessarily oversold just yet on the 6-hour for the RSI and the money flow. When you go to the 4-hour, this is the sweet spot you like to see, this kind of suppressed 4-hour with the money flow underneath the RSI in this oversold position where it's starting to turn green, with the Williams starting to round out here. Are we starting to get that liquidity grab to the downside where it starts to bottom out here? This is the question. So the 4-hour is looking nice for potentially thinking about longing at some stage. Let's go to the hourly and see if that coalesces with what we're seeing. So the one thing to note is the rising sun potential of the hourly and being oversold here, with the MACD underneath it saying, what's up? Do you want a snap of the fingers, a spark? Do you need something to light your sun and take it to the upside? The baselines are also beneath the price. We like to see this. It's very nice to see for a potential long at the bottom of the Keltner channel as well. At the bare minimum, you can come up to bearishly retest the ATR, similar to what we did before I took my mom to the airport yesterday, and then you touch the cloud or the ATR and get that rejection. Now, what do you do at that time? Does the cloud start to thin? It looks like it's already starting to round out in a certain manner. Does that mean you're starting to get this support of a zone here for consolidation? Bounces on the hourly here. The hourly play is looking nice, although you're already starting to play out with not really going anywhere. Is the volume going to step up to the plate? It looks like it currently has not. Volume tapering off here as you go sideways. Let's go to the 15. 15 minute is overbought, and you're meeting with that resistance at the cloud here. The one thing to note is the cloud is also curving in this manner. So you'd have to pierce above it, show some interest and come off it before continuing, and seeing that thinned out cloud at some stage is the idea to note. If we are going to find some sort of bottom here, the baselines did cross over on the 15 and you are holding them, and these are the things you like to see for your first sign of reversal. These are your first signs of reversal. The baselines are one of the few leading moving average formulas you will find on the market. So this is why we turn the opacity up and why we use this for scalping the futures, and which we will be doing after the live. So if you're in the Momentum Master Discord, please join the live analysis after this, and we can look for some serious setups on the Nasdaq. Alright, so the money flow is coming above the 15-minute here, and we could see the RSI come up here. They kind of move in tandem randomly together as they go, and if one starts to come up, if particularly the money flow comes above the RSI, it likes to come down on you, and in similar fashion, if the money flow comes beneath the RSI, it likes to come up. So you're looking for these divergences to at least give you some sort of bounce here. Are we seeing a divergence just yet? Not necessarily, and you're getting some players selling off these candles here as anyone attempts to buy back against that cloud resistance. So the 15-minute is overbought, so the 15-minute has to come down here. Is it going to come down in a double bottom fashion and try to make another stab at the cloud? That is the question. Let's go to the lower time frame to note. 5-minute coming down in this manner. You attempted to shift out the cloud, as we did a little bit, but we fell beneath the cloud and are looking to hold the ATR on the 5-minute here as we reset the Williams and the probability waves here. So we could see the 5-minute try to hold this and do this play and pierce above the 15 and pin it. 15-minute candle closed in 10 minutes ago, so we're not going to really stay to see how the hourly closes out here, but one thing we can do is see what type of 100x's we're coming back into right now. It looks like we're coming back into these guys that opened up into resistance here. You got some 37 million that opened up here, and a 28 million pool that opened up here, and a 37 million that opened up here. And so are they coming back for these 100x longs? This is what your rounded tops look like when you create a trap that traps the longs, because it never comes back to their entry, forever brief, and then starts to come back to pierce them. So are they trying to do that here as they get refuel for their attack to this 282 million at 2829? That could be the case, because you do have a lot of sparse broth here on the ramen noodles. So once you eat these small noodles, does that supercharge you to come up into these pools? We'll see what type of inducement is had at that time. So you're getting these updates before everyone else, hopefully, so you can take that with you in your journeys and trading affairs. So as you see this cloud starting to curve in this manner, you're wanting to see how it thins and where it thins, and whether, like, so if you're on the bearish projection, let's say you come down here and you kiss the cloud and it's thinning here, and you're on this side, then you could expect more downside. If you start to reclaim it, you could, and it starts to thin, you can look for that kind of bounce to the upside. So it's all about what the cloud does here on the 15-minute. Similar to here, we came back around out of cloud, we pierced it, we kissed it, we came up and we meandered around, but at the bare minimum you could have seen that twist and turn of the cloud here and taken that to the upside for a scalperoo of nearly 1.69%, and we gave that to you on the live before we went to the airport, and even the angle was exact if I recall. So are we going to see similar fashion here, at least to create a consolidation range in this field to figure out what we want to do on these higher time frames? It's highly likely, based on this 15-minute holding the baseline here, that you could be seeing some sort of attempt to stab at the liquidity pools to the upside, based on the 1-minute time frame having these large bubbles imbalanced to here. Once you start to tap one of these 100x, if not all of them, for that liquidity grab to continue higher here. At least that's what I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and open up our liquidation levels and go to a lower time frame. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I'm here to help. So the 5-minute time frame previously got that twist and turn, but we did not get that kiss, and we are possibly coming to get these 100x as you see on this liquidation levels indicator. What is this liquidation levels one? This is a free one by ML Applications. Just type liquidation levels version 2, you'll see it pop up. Set the threshold to 0.1 for every 100k trader, show the statistics, and you should be good to go. And you can see if there's more 100x accumulating to the downside than the upside, likely we will come in and knock those 100x out, similar to what we did here. Eventually the piper is paid enough and starts to shift out. Is that what we will see in the New York Baton Pass, the London Baton Pass to New York in an hour? That's when, well, the market's open, but then an hour after that you start to see the London close, and that's when you see this surge. So when you see that around this region, it makes sense that it would be around 11 o'clock on my time. That's generally when the London close occurs. So far I'm liking this angle for the clouds and everything, projection speaking. So this is what you want to look for if you are so inclined to take these. If the baseline holds beneath the price like this and scoops it like an ice cream scoop and you're beneath the Keltner channels, this is what you look for those 15 hourly to 4 hour medium time frame plays of scalps up to at least 2.3% from whatever the divergence that spawned off of these 3 characters here at 27,759 or 27.7 even. Alright, so let's see what you guys have to say, and then we will get kind of short but sweet. Do you guys have anything you'd like me to look at? Nice, good. Music levels good. We don't have that doubling up. I don't know what was up with that. I think it was my Parallels virtual computer kind of sending 2 signals, one delayed by a couple seconds. I don't know, but I turned off my Windows virtual machine on my Mac and then rebooted, so that seemed to solve it. Alright, so well, we're gonna just keep it short but sweet. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for some sort of divergence play to see some sort of curvature of these clouds rather than a continuation at this moment. The move has been made for the time being. Are you going to see some eat up of some of this short liquidity before continuing lower? It is highly possible that coming back into some of these candles to eat some of those 100xers at the bare minimum is something they like to do. We've marked it off level wise pretty accurately. Even this top here was a pool if we had thought to enter a short over the weekend. Shout out to anyone who's in the shorts. You're getting paid today. Congratulations. Alright, I want to try to find some higher time frame narratives for NASDAQ and stuff for my Discord members, so I will be doing that off stream. So I will be taking a look at that and posting some levels in the live analysis there. So we're getting 5 time frames oversold with the symbol that you would receive to your phone as a dynamic alert. So if you're just waking up in America, you would receive an alert like this telling you you have 5 time frames oversold and what their values are on your phone as you wake up. And you would see this, oh, it's beneath the baseline on the 15 and it's at the bottom of the Keltner channel. I don't mind if I do. And you might consider just putting in a little bit of a scalperoo off a level here and just seeing what plays out. Do you play back up to this region by Tuesday or Wednesday? Who knows? We did have quite a drop of sorry, let me adjust this. We had a 4.75 drop to the downside. So do you have some retrace into some of these candles? More like this fair value gap here would be right around this region, I believe. So getting off of this level at 28,362. Let's see if that lines up with anything here. 28,362. 334 is this little bit of happiness at 282 million, and you have this 28.4 character of 194 million at 100x. You know how they love to come back to those 100x. So please note this level, 28,403. 28,403 is where they will likely come for a little guy here. So I'm going to put that 28,403 character here and see if they come get him. This guy somewhere in here. Are they going to come back into this 100x character at the bare minimum? We will find out later tonight on Trading Ball Z. Alright, well, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I think I got it in a good place for now, at least with the way the cloud is showing me on these higher time frames, the hourly, the 15, these clouds showing this kind of curvature, and you have different options for both. If you do fall beneath this cloud and just bearishly retest down to here and find it thinning over here, are you going to see that reversal to the downside? I would expect something around the 2 hour from now mark for some sort of play either way when London closes. Alright, ladies and germs, let's see what you have to say and we will bid you adieu. Do you have a bearish bias for the NAS today? That is a good question. I was looking at it. It had this huge run up on the Friday time, and we went above into those pools of buy side liquidity. So we're going to see if we head higher. We had previous nukes that played out here. We're starting to see one of the baselines fatigue above the price here. Now ideally you still have some room to come down here and bounce off these and go higher. Similar to this, you could come down here and bounce out until you have both baselines above the price in this fashion. Then you don't really see this furious. So you really want to see these kind of coming above the candles on these higher time frames to have a bias, and it still has a potential area to bounce off of, basically. So you have kind of a level to bounce, a dynamic support level here at 13,266 as it stands currently, and then you have these higher time frame areas which you're looking to find as support, and we're currently above these resistance levels. We're currently at this range high resistance level that we could see some rejection at, or we could go above it and take out some of these liquidities and go to these bullish trend-based fib levels at 13,461. Do I have a bias to the downside? Well, you are getting overbought on the 4 hour, the daily, the 3 day, the weekly. You are getting to that region, so I would expect that you have some sort of, like, I don't know, kind of rise up into these regions before you come down in this fashion, where you would come up and stop out some of the liquidity up here, and then these regions would be where you look for that kind of short potential above here. Not where we're at currently, but I could be mistaken. We currently knocked out the ATR for the bearish trend, so it's on until it's not. So we could go up here for that stop hunt rise before we drop it. I don't know what type of news plays might be around today, but that's what I see for that. Let's see. The ES is also getting a nuke right now, which is interesting to note. So we're getting overbought on weekly time frames alongside the 4 hour here, and getting multiple time frames not in your favor for upside. We are reclaiming and value, like a fair value gap that might be around this region, getting up to that level of the daily time. Are we going to see that rise up? We're not getting the same level of interest per se as the NAS did, so are we going to start to see a shoulder head and a shoulder down out of here into some of these pools below? That is the question. So you got like a level here that you can come back into. Does this bearish trend-based fib level coincide with that? So it depends if you are kind of wherever you top out. Let's say you top out at this fair value gap, right? Then you'd be looking for a breakdown at this cloud, which happens to be the 236, which would take you down into these regions. And it does look like there is a fair value gap down here, so this would coincide nicely with that. It's a BPR fair value gap kind of. So in that 706 region, you could come down into this after you have your fill of that stop hunt, wherever that stop hunt will be. So it looks like you're seeing like a ABC to the downside, and this is an A, and then you see a retrace B and then a C to go higher. So maybe you'll have this fake out, retrace down, and then surge up some more. If this is just one leg, then you have kind of like that. I'm still a student of this, I don't know, but it seems like a simple concept about higher lows and lower highs, and then you get a lower low kind of thing. It's just like a rise, retrace, continuation idea. Rise, retrace, continuation idea before reversal. So yeah, we're just seeing it kind of continue potentially higher before it starts to fade down, similar to the NAS for today. Could be wrong on that, of course, but yeah, you could see that retrace into here to continue up. We'll just erase this for now and give a more thorough analysis in a minute. So let's see if you have anything else to say. I think I made it, thank goodness. Nice. Thank you, Prehab. Thank you, Sunshine. All right, ladies and gents, I will catch you on the flip side in the Discord. We will be going over NASDAQ on futures accounts. For anyone interested to check that out, please come into the Discord live. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we will do the same to bring the precision, the fire, and the accuracy and all that good stuff to the live. So we will catch you on the flip. Thank you for coming.